I've always been a private person. After years of working 80-hour weeks in the city, my dream was simple: to retire in peace. 15 years ago, I bought a secluded piece of land deep in a lush valley. Nestled between rolling hills with a crystal-clear river cutting through it, the property came with an old but sturdy cabin. It wasn't just a vacation spot to me, it was home. For a decade, I lived there part-time, slowly renovating the cabin with my own two hands. I cut trails through the woods, built a fishing dock, and even planted a small orchard. I wanted this valley to be a place my family could enjoy for generations. But 5 years ago, my father's health declined, and I moved to the city to take care of him. During those years, I only visited the cabin occasionally. I paid my property taxes, maintained the land as best I could, and trusted that the surrounding area would stay quiet and untouched. What I didn't know was that while I was away, a new HOA had moved in, building a small development at the far end of the valley. They never reached out to me, never asked permission, and according to county records, they had no legal claim to my land whatsoever. When I finally returned to my valley this summer, I was excited, even emotional. As I drove down the familiar dirt road, my heart raced. But when I rounded the last bend, my excitement turned to pure rage. Where there had once been wide-open meadows and towering oaks, there were now rows of cookie-cutter houses, a cheaply built clubhouse, and bright signs screaming, "Welcome to Whispering Pines Community, HOA, rules enforced." It felt like a nightmare. Confused and furious, I drove straight to my cabin, or rather, what used to be my cabin. Someone had built a tall wooden fence around my property. My gate was locked with a cheap chain, and a giant HOA sign hung on the fence like they owned the place. Before I could even process what I was seeing, a woman stormed up to me. She was exactly what you'd imagine when you hear the word Karen: platinum blonde bob, oversized sunglasses, and a clipboard clutched to her chest like a weapon. "You can't park there," she snapped, pointing to my truck. "This is private HOA property and you're trespassing." I laughed in disbelief. "Trespassing? Lady, I've owned this land for 15 years. You're the ones trespassing." She scoffed. "Nice try. This entire valley is under Whispering Pines HOA jurisdiction now. If you'd like to visit, you'll need to pay guest fees and submit an application to become a member." Her arrogance was almost comical. "Listen carefully," I said, pulling my truck's title paperwork from my glove box. "I don't need an application. This is my land. Every square foot you're standing on belongs to me." Karen didn't even glance at the papers. Sure, she said with a smirk. "Why don't you take this up with the board? Until then, you need to leave immediately." That's when I noticed several other people gathering behind her, HOA members whispering like a pack of vultures. It was clear they thought I was bluffing, just some random guy trying to stir up trouble. I drove to the county records office the very next morning to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. Within minutes, the clerk confirmed everything. I was the sole owner of the valley, including the land the HOA development was built on. Apparently, the developers who built Whispering Pines had leased the land from a shady company that didn't actually own it. When the HOA took over, they never checked the records. Legally, the entire neighborhood was squatting on my property. My blood boiled. I had been paying taxes on this land the whole time, and they had been treating me like a trespasser. Armed with undeniable proof, I returned to my cabin that evening. Sure enough, Karen was there waiting for me, arms crossed like a self-appointed sheriff. "Back again," she said with a sneer. "Didn't I tell you to leave?" Instead of answering, I handed her a folder full of legal documents. "Read this. Then get every single person off my land." Karen's smug expression faltered as she flipped through the pages. Her face went pale when she reached the county survey maps, clearly marking the boundaries. This must be a mistake," she stammered. "No mistake," I said coldly. "Every house you built? Every fence you put up? Even that gaudy clubhouse over there? It's all sitting on my land. And you've been trespassing for years." The crowd behind her started buzzing nervously. One man shouted, "Karen, you told us this was a secure investment." I could practically see Karen's power crumbling before my eyes. She tried to regain control, raising her voice and shouting, "The HOA isn't going anywhere. We'll fight this in court." "Good luck with that," I replied, "because I've already spoken to my attorney. Tomorrow, every single one of you is getting a formal eviction notice." Her jaw dropped. "You can't do that." "Oh, I can," I said, stepping closer. "And I will. This valley is mine. The only reason you're still standing here is because I'm giving you a chance to leave peacefully." For a moment, there was complete silence. Then chaos erupted. Homeowners shouted at Karen, some demanding refunds, others cursing her out for misleading them. Karen tried to calm them down, but it was useless. Her reign as HOA queen was over. Over the next few weeks, things got ugly. Karen filed complaints, begged county officials to intervene, even tried to smear me online. But the law was on my side, and my attorney was relentless. By the end of the month, the HOA was dissolved, the clubhouse bulldozed, and the houses were either moved or abandoned. The day the last moving truck left, I stood on my porch and breathed deeply. The valley was mine again, quiet, serene, and free of interference. As for Karen, she left in disgrace, humiliated and broke. I heard later that several of the homeowners were suing her personally for fraud. Now, whenever I sit on my porch watching the sunset over my land, I smile. Karen thought she ruled this valley, but in the end, she was just another trespasser. And me? I wasn't just a cabin owner. I was the king of the whole valley. If you enjoyed this wild HOA takedown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next unbelievable showdown.